My goodness, guys, this is one of those movies I wish I could have seen in the theaters because the title would have made so much more sense at the end of the day. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Blumhouse has a new movie. It's on demand right now. It's called You Should Have Left. I need you in the comments down below. Did you like this film? Did it work for you? Was it scary? Let's talk about it. So in an effort to repair their relationship, Theo and Susanna book a vacation at a stunning, remote modern home in the Welsh countryside for themselves and their 6-year-old daughter, Ella. At first, it seems perfect. Things begin to get more sinister, and thus, you should have left. The movie, not the audience. So from David Koepp, writer of movies like Jurassic Park, Spider-Man, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, but director of movies like Secret Window, which has some fans for sure, Premium Rush, Mordecai. I'll start with this. Kevin Bacon is genuinely good in this movie. He's trying. Amanda Seyfried? Seyfried? I never get it right. I think it's Seyfried. Their relationship is strained as a couple, and you can see that emotionally within their performances. I like that. You can also see that their kid is very curious as to not only what's going on with them now, but what happened with her father in the past with his previous relationship, because that's something that's haunting him, along with the fact that he just doesn't trust the wife that he's with. So all of these things eating away at him, he's struggling internally, and then we get what goes down when they actually reach this location, this house that has a lot going on, but a lot that we don't necessarily know about until the latter half, maybe even the final third of the film. The movie opts to hold out on certain reveals that I think would have made the film much more interesting at the beginning. It saves it to the end, but even when you get to those moments and you're thinking, okay, we're going to get some scares, we're going to finally get some thrills and chills, you don't necessarily get that. There are random jump scare techniques used at the beginning of the movie, but they don't make a lot of sense in context because you're thinking about what this movie actually is once it's over, and then you think back to the beginning, it's like, what? But questions. I have lots of questions. I wish the story was better. I really do, because the performances are pretty solid for the most part, and the use of shadows in this movie, and specifically the lighting around certain door frames, I know that's a very specific positive, but the house looks great. One crazy thing about the house is that when you're on the outside, you know, it looks pretty good, but then when you go in, it's a lot bigger than one would think. But turns out the house is actually even bigger than that, and that adds into the horror aspect. But another thing that you just don't know until the end of the movie. They save all of these reveals, and when tension finally starts to amp up and you begin to understand, oh, they're doing this. I'm going to draw a parallel to Interstellar, and you're not going to know what that parallel is until you watch the movie, and then you're going to say, oh, that, because nothing leads to that happening later on in this film, and it's almost as if they were trying to find things that made this movie cool in the third act. And I'll admit, some moments finally had me on the edge of my seat, but overall, it felt like this movie didn't really know what it wanted to be. Is it a relationship drama? Is it a psychological thriller? Is it a horror movie? It's trying its best to be a psychological thriller because there are so many elements planted throughout the film. But at the end of the day, it's a sloppy, and I mean extremely sloppy narrative, and it reminds me of how Fantasy Island, a Blumhouse movie earlier this year, was just kind of trying to find things from different genres to make it entertaining. That's what this movie was doing. It's a thriller at its core, but it tries to incorporate horror elements that don't work or make sense. It tries to focus on the romance between those two at the beginning, and it's an obvious struggle between both of them, but mostly Kevin Bacon's character because what he had to deal with in the past and this new problem that has arisen, and the fact that his reality is basically crumbling around him. And there is this force within the house that is much more sinister than he and we as an audience anticipate. But once we get that reveal, and the big issue with this movie is the fact that the reveals were just very underwhelming. I felt underwhelmed by all of the major turning points in the movie, and at the end of the day, this is just somewhat of a flat and dull film, even though there are aspects, like I said, that could have made the movie great. I liked the concept way more than I like the execution. David Koepp as a director, Mordecai, and now they should have left. So I want to know, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you enjoy it more than I did? If you enjoy these reviews, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. I'm going, I think, a bit lower than most will go with their score. I've been seeing a lot of people in the 5 range. I'm going to give it a 34%, just because it's such a huge missed opportunity for me, because there were a few elements, but when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And that's the most unfortunate part. So, another Blumhouse movie. They've had some good this year. They've had some bad. I need to know where you fall on this film. Let me know that in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys for watching this. And more reviews later today. I'll see you soon.